In the headlines, President Muhammadu Buhari says insurgency will end soon. Navy rescues 7 kidnapped victims in rivers. EFCC operatives surround Okorocha's house in Abuja. And on the foreign scene, 2 pilots killed after fighter jet crashes in Iran. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I'm Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. President Muhammadu Buhari has charged the security agencies to remain resolute and steadfast in securing the nation. President Buhari stated this during the 58th anniversary of the Nigerian Air Force held at the 403 Flying Training School, Kano. The report.
Muhammadu Buhari noted that the Nigerian Air Force was able to meet the constitutional responsibilities, thereby justifying the government's enormous support in the last 7 years.
The Nigerian Air Force has over these 58 years transformed to a formidable and resilient Air Force that is positioned to effectively tackle both contemporary and future security challenges. This adaptability has thus enabled the service to respond effectively to our dynamic national security challenges. The Nigerian Air Force has been able to meet with constitutional responsibilities, thereby justifying the government's enormous support in the last 7 years.
President Buhari maintained that his administration had acquired new air platforms for the Nigerian Air Force with a view to meet up the security challenges.
To continue to modernize the armed forces, we will continue to do more to support the Air Force. To this end, we have approved the procurement of more platforms, such as the Beechcraft, some modern helicopter gunships, and UAV for the Nigerian Air Force to enable it to man our airspace more effectively. Rest assured that as a government, we are willing to do even more to ensure the provision of the requisite support and encouragement to overcome various security challenges.
Highlight of the occasion includes humanitarian outreach by the President of Nigerian Air Force Officers' Wives Association, where she donated food items to the widows of the Nigerian Air Force personnel who lost their lives.
And former governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, has promised to work with Governor Bello Muhammad to tackle security challenges bedeviling the state. He made the promise while playing host to the All Progressive Congress APC leadership in the state, led by its chairman, Tukur Damfulani, at his country home in Talata Mafara local government area of the state. The former governor believes that the recent reconciliation between the 2 warring factions of the APC in Zamfara State will yield fruitful results for the party in the state. He said the reconciliation was aimed at moving the state forward and improve the lives of the citizens.
A very kind of robust progress from our people, our response, excellent, and it's our hope that by God's grace, this reconciliation, inshallah, will yield an excellent result. We have done so many things within last 10 days. And we met with many people and many groups, ranging from the stakeholders, from world stakeholders, local government, state, and the different direction of people. And the interaction is giving us encouragement, which we are going to continue to end until the voting day, inshallah. We will not relent our efforts. We will continue, inshallah, and by God's grace, we will and at the end of the day, we will get results to our students, inshallah. The system is in place, and by God's grace, we put our head together to see that by God's grace, more especially security we have done, we are going to do more and more and more to see that we at least get to take it to a level that maybe each and every farmer can go back to farm and community can go back to the residents. By God's grace, we are praying, and we believe Almighty God will give us the support to get this to true. Thank you very much.
Now to matters of security, where a notorious member of a syndicate of armed robbers and car snatchers has been killed after robbing a 52-year-old Usman Abdul Mumini this Saturday. The robbers, numbering about 5, attacked their victim while supervising work on his farm at Kirkini village of Kankia local government area in Katsina State. The robbers snatched Usman Abdul Mumini's car with registration number CRC 135KA, valued at 2.6 million naira. Abdullahi Amadi tells us more.
The police in Chiranchi claimed that with the support of villagers, they blocked all exits to Katsina-Kano highway and intercepted the stolen vehicle driven by one of the robbers, where they killed him on the spot. While searching the vehicle, one pistol with 5 rounds of ammunition were recovered.
And also 5 live rounds. These ones are expelled. These ones, they are the live ammunitions, which were recovered inside the magazine. The command is making efforts with a view to arresting the other members of the syndicate as investigation is ongoing.
In a similar development, armed robbers in their numbers stormed Kankia town, headquarters of Kankia local government area of Katsina State, around 11 p.m. on Friday. The robbers blocked Kano-Katsina road near Shagarilo Coast houses and robbed commuters. The robbery was carried out here at this point. People were overwhelmed by sporadic gunshots. Many people did not sleep well on that day because they were not certain what was happening. Most of the victims were traders coming back from Kano. The robbers collected unspecified amount of money and valuables from passengers who were returning from Kano. The driver conveying drugs to me from Kano is among the victims. When I heard the gunshots, I was confused. I left my chemist wide open and ran home. People were running helter-skelter, confusion everywhere, until when a convoy of one of these politicians came and dispersed the robbers. Though no life was lost, residents commended the quick response from the Kankia divisional police officer and his men, who chased the hoodlums out of the town.
The challenge now is the mobility, how they move. They have one Hilux motor, and the other one donated by my government when I was in office as caretaker. It was down. It is down now presently. Maybe if we have money, it's our priority now to make it work again.
The residents are, however, calling for the deployment of more security personnel to secure Kankia local government, which is gradually becoming prone to insecurity. The police public relations officer, Katsina State Command, promised to call back after they refine from the DPO Kankia local government. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And the Nigerian Navy NNS Pathfinder says it has rescued 7 kidnapped victims who were taken hostage along Rivers Bayelsa waterways. The base commander, NNS Pathfinder in Port Harcourt, Commodore Suleiman Ibrahim, told journalists in Port Harcourt on Tuesday that the abduction of the victims was masterminded by one Victor Paddy. He said that the kidnapped victims were on their way from Bonny to Port Harcourt before they were abducted. Ibrahim noted that troops of the Nigerian Navy deactivated the 2 camps of the mastermind of the abduction, adding that efforts are on top gear to arrest him. The rescued victims will be handed over to their families after a thorough medical examination to ascertain their state of health. The primary election of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for Senate has been marred by the late arrival of election officers in Kaduna State. The State Secretary of the PDP in Kaduna, Ibrahim Usono, said all is set for the election, though at the time of filing this report, the primaries were yet to commence. But the election commenced at about midnight and finished about 3 a.m. in the morning. Lami Sadiq, who was earlier at the venue of the election, had an interview with the State Secretary of the PDP in Kaduna and explained the reason for the delay.
The official, that is the electoral official, the INEC, the agent, and the security agencies. So everything is in order, and what we are planning, what we are going to do now is we have to invite all delegates. We will start to invite all local government by local government. You know, we have several local governments. So we will invite each local government to come with their delegates. And each local government, when they came, after the brief explanation by the electoral officials on how the election is going to be conducted, so the election will start. So long as you cast, after you cast your vote, you only go, so that you know there are security challenges here in Kaduna.
About 247 delegates are expected to cast their votes here at the Muhammadu Bello Stadium in Kaduna for the PDP primary elections for Kaduna Central Senatorial District. However, as at 6 p.m. on Monday, the election is yet to commence. The PDP has confirmed that this was due to late arrival of election officers, but they have arrived and have been posted to various destinations in Zaria, where the election for Kaduna North Senatorial District is expected to take place, and to Kafanchan, where that of the Kaduna South Senatorial District is expected to take place.
Meanwhile, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has dissolved the State Executive Council with immediate effect from Tuesday, 24th May 2022. A statement by the Special Assistant Media to the Rivers State Governor, Kelvin Ebiri, said the Chief of Staff of the Governor and Senior Special Assistant Protocol have also been relieved of their office. Wike commended members of the Rivers State Executive Council for their service and contribution to the development of the state and wished them the best in all their future endeavors. Governor Wike has therefore instructed all former members of the State Executive Council to hand it over to the most senior officers in their respective ministries. You're watching Trust TV News Update. Still to come after the break. Why animals undergo surgery in Sokoto. This and more after the break. Do stay with us.
Daily, we bring you updates around politics.
People like you who are very young, you have no future. Anybody now who is 30 years, if what is happening to them continues, by the time you are 60, you will have no country.
The DPO of a particular unit does not have to wait until the commissioner tells him what to do within his jurisdiction.
We have political parties on the ground. Some of them have been there for years. But they themselves, in their own sober moments, they know that this country is not the one they're expecting to run.
Policy and governance.
Are you saying the NBS is lying?
I'm saying to you very clearly that the NBS has a serious problem with accurate data till today.
The 5th Assembly, as well as the 7th Assembly, their own attempt were unproductive.
Emergence of the Taliban has simply emboldened terror groups globally.
There's a lot of attention with regards to security developments in Nigeria.
On Daily Politics, we interrogate issues, holding the actors to account, bearing in mind all the sides.
We heard that in some places now, people have to go and pay tax, not to the local government, not to the state, but to criminals.
Nobody can come to your house and kidnap you without information.
If this country is bleeding, it is bleeding because we have failed to educate our young.
Welcome Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now look at our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari says insurgency will end soon. And the Navy has rescued 7 kidnapped victims in rivers. Moving on to more news now. Reports say operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have surrounded the Abuja residence of former governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha. Daily Trust correspondent, who is currently at the residence, also observed the presence of armed personnel of the Nigeria Police Force. Reports on Tuesday say that Okorocha has been snubbing several invitations extended to him over alleged corruption against him. Meanwhile, spokesman for the EFCC, Wilson Owujaren, has yet to respond to several phone calls by our Daily Trust correspondent. We will bring you details of this report in our subsequent bulletin. A middle-aged woman with her children were murdered in Anambra State by a yet-to-be-identified gunman. The woman, a native of Adamawa State, is said to be pregnant when she was killed. Abbas Alibi gives us an update on the killing.
Yes, I have confirmed the incident from one of the leaders of the Hausa community in Anambra State. That is the second house of Orumba North. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, he told me that the woman is a native of Adamawa State. She's an indigenous of Adamawa State. She's a pregnant woman. She went out together with her 4 children to visit some of her relatives or some of her friends. The incident happened yesterday evening. So she's on her way back to home. So she took an Okada, a commercial bike rider, picked her together with her 4 children. So on her way back home, she encountered with those unknown gunmen. So the unknown gunmen attacked them. However, the commercial bike driver escaped. So he escaped and left the woman with her children. The unknown gunmen killed the woman, killed the 4 children. The woman is pregnant as well, just as the second of Said, the second of Orumba North.
Yeah, apart from the second house, is there any confirmation from the police?
Well, I have tried my possible way to see if I can talk with the security agency over there, but all the efforts made was on there. But even the second house, I said that the killing of this woman is the first one. He said that even his own brother, that is his own brother Aliyu, he was from the same mother. He was also murdered this way the last 2 months, and this thing continued to happen. A lot of people, more especially from the northern part of the country, living in that region, have been falling a victim. He said that his own brother was there, and apart from him, we have a lot of records, people that were trapped.
At least 4,000 animal surgeries were successfully carried out in Sokoto State between 2021 and the first quarter of 2022. The exercise is part of the state's sustainable 24-hour veterinary service delivery, which includes ambulatory response to animals' emergency situations across the state. Trust TV's Idris Jibran visited the State Veterinary Clinic along Aliu Jedo Street in Sokoto Metropolis and now reports.
This is one of the 4 veterinary clinics situated within the metropolitan city of Sokoto, where 24-hour services are being provided to cattle and other livestock.
The veterinary clinic is a clinic that provides a lot of services to the general public. One of the services is clinical services, where we treat a number of animals of different species. The species include the ovine species, which we call sheep, the caprine species, which we call goat, the avian species, which we call poultry or chickens, And then the small animal comprising the dog, cat, and other species of animals.
Equipped with all the necessary facilities to effectively treat animals of different species, clinics officials say their effort is paying off.
This is the machine that we normally test whether the animal has enough blood or not, because before we go further to carry out some major theaters, which include CS, luminotomy, angiography, and whatever, and we have to actually test and see whether if the animal can take the surgery.
Within the first quarter of this year alone, this veterinary clinic has recorded over 7,000 cases brought from different parts of the state.
As at last year, we had like 17,386 cases, among which the surgical cases are up to 3,077, while the non-surgical cases are 14,386. So for this year, the first quarter, we had like, to date, we are having 7,260 cases, among which 1,261 were surgical cases, and then the remaining ones are non-surgical cases.
To ensure effective service delivery, veterinary doctors like these ones are being trained as herders continue to line up for treatment. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Sokoto.
President Muhammadu Buhari has urged executives of banking institutions in West Africa to forge a closer collaboration to tackle the economic challenges confronting the sub-region. The president made the call Tuesday while receiving a delegation from the West African Bankers Association, WABA, led by its president, Theano Seydou Nourou Sai. President Buhari said the sub-region must find a common understanding and ground to address low access to financial services and recovery from post-COVID-19 pandemic. In his remark, the WABA president hailed the lead role Nigeria played in the African economy and said President Buhari's leadership was well appreciated. Bida has become one of the best selected cities in the world by UNESCO Creative Cities Network. The Ezunupe Yahya Abubakar disclosed this Monday in Abuja at a two-day national workshop on implementation of UNESCO 1954 Convention on the protection of cultural property in the event of armed conflicts. The resource person, Nath Adeniran, urged the federal government to allocate a statutory budget for the preservation, protection and security of cultural property in the event of armed conflict. Also, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Culture, Ifoma Anyatoku, said the national workshop is to produce the strategic plan for the protection of cultural property in the event of armed conflicts.
Recently, Bida City became the first city in Nigeria to be accepted as a member of UNESCO Creative Cities Network, UCCN, and designated as City of Crafts and Folk Art. This was as a result of the protection of the Bida City's cultural properties, which have survived several armed conflicts dating back to the 11th century.
It is to maintain our identity. It is to showcase and project our identity as people of various tribes in Nigeria, and as unique as Nigeria is, because that's a defining thing for Nigeria, that there must be something to protect and preserve our Nigerianness. We may be diverse, we may be many, multilingual and all that, but the only way we can showcase to the world is the preservation of our culture. And not only its preservation as such, we must use them. It is the use of them that will also make a total protection of them.
Nigeria ratified the first protocol of the 1954 Hague Convention on the protection of cultural properties in the event of armed conflicts on the 5th of June 1961, and also ratified the second protocol on the 21st of October 2005. and has since committed to the implementation of the instruments.
And now look at the foreign scene, where 2 pilots have died after their fighter jet crashed during a training run in Iran's Isfahan province. State media confirmed on Tuesday that an AN-F7 aircraft crashed in Anarak, approximately 200 kilometers east of the city of Isfahan, killing both pilots. The aircraft, which belonged to the army, went down at about 8:10 a.m. local time. In February, an AN-F5 fighter jet belonging to the Iranian army crashed in an urban area in Tabriz, killing both pilots and a civilian on ground. Many of the jets employed by the Iranian army date back to before the 1979 Islamic Revolution. The Middle East country is unable to buy spare parts and has to maintain the planes itself due to sanctions and embargoes. Now let's join Adeni Ajishafe for sports news.
Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport Development has hosted the West African Football Union Under-20 Flying Eagles and Team Nigeria Scrabble champions in a grand reception after both teams conquered West Africa in football and Scrabble. Team Nigeria won the Maiden Scrabble Championship in Ghana, topping from 1st to 9th on the top 10 rankings, while Eta Karo of Nigeria became the best player of the competition. He expressed his joy for being part of the team.
24 games qualifier with the best set of players in Africa. I mean, you know, Nigeria is the best Scrabble playing nation in the world. So playing alongside and winning the qualifier actually boosted my morale, and it gives me confidence that even when I got to Ghana, you know, and eventually won, I was just so happy. The feeling of elation was just endless.
The Flying Eagles won 3 matches and drew once to leave the WAFU B Championship and also a qualifier for the Under-20 Nations Cup in Egypt 2023. General Secretary of Nigerian Football Federation, Muhammadu Sanusi, while presenting the Under-20 team, says the team did well to make Nigerians proud by winning the championship, and also commended the medical team for their promptness towards the team while in Ghana. Minister of Youth and Sport Development, Sunday Dare, urged the Flying Eagles to be more committed as they prepare for future call-up to the national team.
We want to win, but also we must give our own people, our own players, the opportunity to also help this game grow. And I take it from Coach Boso that you will keep this team together. You will lead them to the Cup of Nations and also to the World Cup successfully. But that can only be possible if we maintain the same level of discipline that has brought us the WAFU Cup and the qualification. Discipline among the technical group, discipline among the players. You must promote team spirit, you must promote merit.
That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for joining us.